Flambards is an amusement park located in Cornwall that I went to recently, and today I'm going to talk about what I think of it. So let's go back to the start of the day when I entered the park. So first of all, the entrance isn't that nice. It doesn't look the best, though once you go through that section and another building, you enter a small plaza that's much better. Now to me it felt like the park had three different sections. First of all, the entrance, where there's a Victorian Village and Blitz museums. Then to the left of that you have the main bulk of the park. This is where you can find most of the thrill rides. Finally, to the very right, there's an area of much smaller rides for younger families. So let's start talking about the thrill rides. There's actually quite a decent selection there. Now before I start, I didn't manage to get on all of them as it was quite busy that day, though here's what they've got. They have a drop tower called Skyraker, Skyforce, Thunderbolt, that looked crazy, you'd like spin upside down, and then you have like a chair swing, and on the smaller side of things, a carousel and a tugboat. What I'd say the main ride in their areas is their roller coaster called Hornet. Now this is actually a really good family ride. It has a great first drop and initial turn that actually has some force to it. The layout goes on for a decent amount of time with some nice bank turns and drops scattered around it. Now it's got some slower sections where it passes through like a block section or a long turn, though overall the ride is pretty fun to ride and for sure is the best coaster in Cornwall. Another thing to mention is that they do have a log flume in the area, and although it's quite small I still enjoyed riding it as it was a hot day when we went. And finally there's a go-kart track at the very back, though I didn't go on it sadly as it's an upcharge attraction. So that's all for the main section of the park, and now onto the smaller part to the far right. Now this area turned out to be bigger than I thought. It has quite a lot of things for kids, including a Ferris wheel, small track ride, walkthrough and much more. It seems to be mostly based around dinosaurs, though I wouldn't say it's that consistent as they're like two rides themed to space, so yeah, not great. Though one of those is the only thrill ride in the area, and from what I've seen it looks really good. Though due to COVID restrictions it was closed, so I couldn't get on it. But nearly all of the rides that day were open, so I can't complain. Something that I didn't like about the park was how the rides have different closing times, which is just a bit annoying. Like, you have to have it in the back of your mind when you're choosing what to do. Though it didn't really affect us as we didn't stay for the whole day, that if you were going later then maybe that could be something that could be a bit annoying. And finally to the centre and entrance of the park, where you can find what I'd say is one of the best things to do at Flambards, which is going to the Victorian Village and Britain in the Blitz exhibitions. Now, I've got to be honest here, I wasn't that excited for this. I mostly came for the rides, though I take back what I said because this was amazing. So let's start with the Victorian Village. The detail in there was incredible. You walk around the street and first of all, it's massive. There are lots of different shops and things you can see through the windows of the buildings, and it also has so many levels to it. In parts you're walking down the stairs, and other bits you're walking through alleyways. It's just so big and really well done. Same with the Blitz exhibition, it's a bit smaller though there's still loads to see there. And just outside of that there's also another park called the Aviation Experience too, so I strongly recommend you go to this indoor attraction. You can find it just by the entrance, it's in that building with a sign, and they're all connected together. So that's all of the park. It was busy though, they did have restrictions there like cleaning the rides every so often and social distancing markers on the floor due to the situation at the moment. Just quickly, the operations there seemed absolutely fine. The queue did move a bit slowly for Hornet. That's just because they could only load one group onto each train. Though once things get back to normal, they'll most likely start filling it to the max again. So those are my thoughts on Flambards. It's a nice small to mid-sized place. It's not a theme park as there isn't loads of theming there, though it's still pleasant, like there are lots of places to sit and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I enjoyed my day there. Hornet was my favourite ride, and what surprised me the most was how good the indoor experiences were. So if you're in Cornwall, like we were at the time, then for sure I'd recommend it. And if you have any more questions about it, be sure to ask me down below. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.